Hello, this is my Skye guide on bind. We're going to start off with A first on defense. So generally I don't play A very much. When I do play A, it's because I've either got a read showers or we're going to 5-stack A in some capacity. So the read showers would probably be that I would either look for a bird, or basically what the read might be is that I want to try and take this sort of A lobby space because they like lurking here or like late lurking through the TP. And I might want to try and surprise them with someone lurking here. I might ask a teammate to do this instead. It's a more likely play, but if I feel a bit more 1v9 in my game, then I might decide that I'm going to make this play myself. And I'll check the space with my bird. And then if I get no tags, I'll take the orb if I want the orb. If I need the orb, really. And then I like to take the space. This is also a play I do on Sova as well, where I would use my util to take this sort of space, and then I can control the TP if they decide to TP. I have like a lot of control here where they can't use this portion of the map. So it really makes it easier for my teammates to defend the remaining areas. It's not as great as on Skye as it is on Sova, because on Sova I don't really have to provide any flashes or anything. So, but on Skye, like, you're gonna be careful because you might be the only person with flashes on your team, and it can make like duo plays a lot harder, like plays off util a lot harder, because flashes are really easy to play off, or at least they're easier to play off than other util. Just so bear that in mind. But that is a play that I do make sometimes, and by sometimes I mean very rarely. Like sometimes it doesn't even come up in a buying game, so it's very rare. But I will say I will do like talk about it anyway, because it's a play that I think is pretty good sometimes. The next ones are like 5-stack plays. So if you're going to go aggressive on a 5-stack play, you most likely don't have much money, so you're probably going to be flashing, and you're probably going to flash quite deep right, or you're going to flash quite shallow right. With this, maybe flash left, but not really. The reason why you're going to flash here, or you're going to flash here, the two differences is that if you have a raise, they're going to go quite deep into A-lane probably. Sometimes they don't, but you kind of have to ask them what they're going to do. Because some people might do one satchel close with like a judge or something, so they can shoot faster and like get onto the ground faster. Or they might, or even with ult as well, you'll see that sometimes as well, because they want to be able to shoot faster, and the second satchel will like delay them shooting. So if that happens, then this flash is better, right? Because it's going to flash more relevant things for them. It's not too deep either. With this deep flash, it's a lot easier to turn because they see the bird coming for longer, right? But if it's closer, it's harder to dodge. And the players over here, like if the players were going to flash with this one, these players here aren't going to be relevant to my raise that's one satcheled here. So there's no point in flashing that deep when we could just flash here for all the fights that my raise is going to take. If they're going to go deep, then obviously the reverse applies really. But obviously this flash is still easier to dodge. So it's a bit of a give or take, I guess, give and take, I guess. For the person to satchel deep, they have like a slightly worse flash. But that's basically it for going aggressive on 5-stack. You probably won't be using the dog or anything. If you do happen to have it and you want to use it, then you probably might be using it through the TP. Is probably like one of the best ways to use it. To clear hookah or something, if they're going hookah or going B, sorry. Maybe they're going B, or like they're pressuring B long, and so you can check it here for like any fights with your teammates. Oh, generally you probably won't be doing that though. You probably will just be fighting with them. So I don't really warrant dog too much on ecos when it's not like guaranteed. Like at the start of the round for info, I don't think dog is really that good. Because it's wasting it really most of the time. Usually you probably just want to hold on to it until you can win the round with it. Not exactly win the round with it, but like when the round is winnable, that's when you can start like using the dog. And on ecos, right, you start at disadvantage, so you want to try and find some advantages before you start using it. If you're gonna use do a defensive stack, and if you do a defensive stack, then what can happen is you can sort of sit here with a flash and sort of wait for someone to come close, right? You're probably gonna have like a spectre, or maybe a judge or a bookie or something. So you probably want to just wait for like someone to come close and they start to pressure out A, and then you go and then sort of wait for someone to peek you with the bookie. Obviously, maybe not actually. Maybe not with the bookie. Maybe you do have like maybe even a gun actually. I don't know. Maybe a deagle, probably most likely one with this position where you can flash out. Not like that. You can flash out and then a couple people going into cubby. It's probably the most likely one. You can also do it for teammates too. Obviously, where teammates you can flash for them and they can be swinging already. Obviously not like that, you probably be flashing it quite deep, but doesn't really flash everyone. Also, if they play, like, say they're playing here with a shorty, your teammate, you can do flashes like this for them. Might help them. You can also do flashes over the truck. Not for the shorty teammates, but like in general. So for teammates over here, teammates like on this box or whatever. Obviously they're gonna get flash by it too, but you just need to call your flash. There are plenty of times where go flashes like you can get a good flash, but it's in a bad position for your teammate. So if you call the flash, like if you call the flash, it really should be there. It's like more or less gonna be there for you can sort of come with them as well. By call the flash, I don't mean just say I'm flashing. What I mean by that is before you flash, you say like X person turn, right? So the raise turn for my flash. X. Like I don't really, to be fair, I don't really expect it from like I don't know anything lower than a mortar really, but it is a nice habit to get into, and obviously it's going to help you. You're going to be ahead of people in your games if you do comps like that. So then we're going to talk about B. And on B, I don't really play hookah, but I'm going to talk about some plays you can make from hookah. So there are a couple of flashes. There's a pop flash, which is very simple. There's this flash, which isn't as good, but it's still good. You don't flash yourself. It's still good. I think I did it wrong again. Okay, I did it right. And then there is also the support flash up here. You already do it for yourself. And that's it really from hookah. I will talk about some fake flashes. There's some fake flashes that people do as well from here. And generally with fake flashes, there's not really a good time to do them. That makes sense. It's kind of like a read that you might have where you think the first player is going to dodge it. So then you can get the kill on the people looking away from you. And then you might be able to pop it. And then like pressure the enemy again. So we do things like this, right? Where you can like get a frag and then go back and pop it and then fight again. Obviously not that angle. I'm not very good at it, to be honest. You have to watch people like Sabrosa. Sabrosa does it a lot, actually. So if you want to watch someone do like really good fake flashes on Skye, or at least have Skye flashes that work out, so it's like fake flashes that work out, his movement is really good with them. So I recommend watching like Sabrosa do that stuff. I don't think overall, like, I mean, his Skye play is good, to be fair. But I haven't watched like his full VODs or anything, so I don't know how like good he is at pre-rounding and things, but he probably is good. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me. So next we're going to talk about B. And generally we're going to talk about long. Generally going to play long most of the time on Skye. So the first thing that you're going to think about doing on Skye, you're probably going to be thinking about this flash, deep flash to get info and fountain. And generally the things about this flash are going to be you're going to get early info. But enemies are going to start dodging it. So what you want to do is you want to mix up the timings. So what you want is maybe the first time you could do the flash here a couple times. You want to do like 2 seconds into the round or 5 seconds into the round. You want to do it quite early. And then you want to start mixing it up to go a bit longer. So you wait a bit longer. So you wait like 10 seconds into the round. And then when they start adapting to that, that's when you start bringing it back on them again and doing it like 2 seconds into the round. And because if you do it too late, what will happen is they'll start trying to run up and then walk and then try and get to you before you flash. And then by the time you're doing this flash, they're already long. So then you pop the flash. You pop the flash and then you wouldn't even tag them, right? Or you might think they're like super far away, but they're actually right next to you. So that's the reason why they would like. That's the reason why you would like mix it up again and make it like shorter amount of time. Obviously it's all based on reads, so it's not always like a thing that you're gonna do. But most of the time it's best to do it things like that, and it's based off like what you read in the round. And we're also going to play around the fact that if we don't get a tag, obviously I'm in a custom game with no other people, so I'm not going to get the thank you. But if I don't get a tag, like with the flash, right, or don't get anyone spotted, then I'm still going to play defensively. I'm still going to be looking for a jump spot unless we have contrary information from A, right? If we have like if we have like 3 short, 2 bath, then I'm not going to be sitting there jump spotting. And if once we have information A, or at least a decent amount of information A, then I'm going to be looking for this dog. Sometimes you might get lurked on from A long, or sorry, from B long, but that's usually quite fringe case. And yeah, we're just going to clear showers with the dog if we see anyone, we see some people. And then at that point, we have a decision to make, right? Most of the time, we're going to be taking the TP. The reason why is because it's not great to retake on this map from conventional angles. When we have access to the TP, especially B long teleporter, it's pretty defensive sided. So it's really, really strong to just go through this TP instead of rotating from B. Not always. Like sometimes there are times when you want to go through CT, but they're so unlikely that that's the right play. Because most of the time you can influence the game a lot faster and a lot stronger from this position than you can from CT as Skye. Once you've got like the info you want, right? They're all going A. That way you can like TP, and look for a flash out. This play is also a lot stronger when you have ult, because you can TP and ult. And what the ult will do is it will show you like what angles you need to worry about. If no cabbage goes through the showers door, then you know to look this way and you don't need to look showers at all. If all three go through this way, then you don't need to look this way at all. And obviously you can base it off like where the cabbages go. If one cabbage goes this way, cabbages go this way. The odds are this cabbage is chasing someone over here, but obviously you probably want to be careful of that angle still. Most likely your first contact is going to be on showers, because people will like come back and try and punish you for TPing. So you can do flashes like this to try and stop them from like instantly fighting you. And sometimes being alive honestly is stronger than just like fighting 1-for-1 in this area, because it puts them in a really bad position where if they take sight, they still have to worry about someone coming from bath. And then they're like stuck fighting you sometimes, then it can make it easier for your teammates to win fights because there's less people. So generally like trying to live there is good, but not over living as well, if that makes sense. So you don't try too hard to live, you want to actually still take fights and have pressure, but you don't want to give up your life too fast. And then we have so I think I talked about that stuff a bit too fast, but if they do walk, sorry, actually no, I didn't actually. So if they actually decide to come B, so we get tags here, then what will happen is they'll walk up or like run up. They'll play anti-flash probably, but we have 2 flashes that we can use. Generally, you want a teammate when you're doing this. Even with the TP as well, sorry, you want a teammate when you're doing that too, ideally. So you want to be coming with your teammates, what you want to do and what you want them to do. There is a pop flash, very easy. There is also this flash. This flash is a lot stronger, but it's at the price of if they're already close, then this flash doesn't do too much, because they probably would already be shooting at you if they're like super close. But the pop flash obviously will get everything, and will help you a lot. You can also ult as well if they're like if they're coming up really fast. Once again, same principle with the ult and the flash, where if you ult and then actually I don't think I even talked about it. If you flash, if you ult and then you flash afterwards, I did talk about it. Then they have to choose between shooting the cabbage and getting blinded by the bird, or they have to turn, not get blinded by the bird, but get blinded by the cabbage. And there's obviously like a thin timing where they can actually like shoot the cabbage then turn. So the idea is we want to make that timing as thin as possible, so it makes it really difficult to dodge one of the 2 flashes. So yeah, that's kind of it, or the near sight and the flash, I guess. So yeah, that's kind of it for defense. We'll move on to attack. Yeah, I forgot to talk about retaking, so I'm going to talk about retaking now. So when you're retaking A, you're probably going to be doing it from the teleporter, and in that case, right, you're probably going to be doing pop flashes like this, and you're going to be fighting probably out here like this quite a bit. You need to make sure you won't be taking quite a few like raw fights, because most of the time you won't have all you fill up. You're going to have 1 flash, and so yeah, good luck with that, I guess. But you are retaking from the best place possible. When you're retaking from CT, a lot of players will try and retake lamps. Don't do this. There's no point. Lamps is pretty strong to have that area. But at the same time, they have to go out of lamps. They have to leave lamps to actually contest the bomb where it's planted most of the time. So, if like it's planted in this sort of area. So, therefore, like, we don't really need to retake from there. We can retake from here. We have better angles on all of sight, right? And the only time that we're ever going to lose, like, from this position, if we retook from sight and our teammates have at least some sort of advantage, is if they manage to, like, do a lurk play it here from lamps. And that's it. If we actually go into lamps, we're getting threatened by a lot of different things. They can make easy like 2v1 players on us, like flash players and that sort of stuff. They also might have shorties to back up, and when we might not. So we need to be because they're going to know what their play is, right? They're going to try and play lamps when we weren't really prepared for that necessarily. So we don't really want to go into lamps. We don't really get too much from this angle as well, when we could have just played from this sort of angle, right? Yeah, generally, I think it's better to you actually see as well in like pro VODs, etc., that very rarely does anyone actually go into lamps to retake. It's just generally a weak place to go take from. because it's just hard to get into, and you don't really get too much out of it when you actually leave lamps. When you actually have more sight control from side of sight. So when we're taking B, or yeah, sorry, when we're taking B, I need to go all the way back over here. Well, first of all, generally we're not going to retake B. Most of the time we are going to be dying over here, or we're going to retreating back to sight, or retreating back to elbow. Flashing out smokes like this, or we're going to be flashing out back sight, playing defensively, or like jump spotting for hookah and that sort of stuff. I'm waiting for like a drop or like this off angle or something. We're waiting for them to push out long enough angle. We barely ever retake B. The reason why we don't ever really want to retake B is because first of all we're playing it, and secondly is that even if we're A, I'm probably going to be rotating this way. Like I'm probably going to be or TPing or something. There's no way I'm retaking B from CT unless like my team have like a set play, and we won't have a set play on solo queue. That's the reason why I very rarely go CT. Or at least I tried my best to not go CT. Sometimes I go autopilot mode and go CT and then realize my mistakes. But yeah, generally don't want to go CT. So on attack, so we're going to actually talk about attack name. So on attack, the best like flash early on for like info on attack for most part is this one, for A at least, where you can get a lot of it. Okay, where you can get a lot of info from this bird here. Or detonate in this corner. You want to make sure it's past this. You actually get full info in bath. You might be thinking if you want to get like more tooted info, then you can like flash it at the front, right? So then it's going to detect like who's in this sort of like square. But generally, that's not really that useful because we can actually instantly see the cross, so we don't need to worry about this right side. And this left side is not a very good angle. Usually the people won't be pushing up, especially since the changes. They won't be pushing up here. So this flash is really good for just attempting if there's anyone in bath. Basically, you don't really need to like get that sort of like tutored information of what's happening, because most of the time, if you get a detection here, they're probably in this area and they're probably not close. But obviously, still should check it. But yeah, it's unlikely that they'll be close. If you actually commit to showers, then you probably do this if you want the orb. Don't really play from showers a huge amount. Usually, I'll just flash early for info, and then let my teammates sort of go there with like maybe have like a second duelist in a chamber that go there or something. Sometimes I'll go showers. It depends on what the idea of the round is. If you want to take A from a split, then I'm okay with going showers a lot. But sometimes my teammates will ask me to dog lamps, which I'll go into in a minute. And if we go up here as well, so if we have committed to showers, then we will be dogging from this area and like pathing like this. And by this point, we probably should have seen someone, but basically the path is going up to here, checking these close angles on the right, and then obviously the triple as well, and then going left, pathing this way until we find someone. If we don't find anyone, then we have all these two areas clear. We have triple clear, and then we have lamps, like the entrance of lamps, and we have TT clear, and obviously this here as well. Kind of clear, not really, but like we have like that info. So like there's no one like pushing out or peeking out right now. As the dog does it, as the dog like watches or like looks. I can't remember. Vocabulary just imploded there. But yeah, then we would go outside, but we probably would be taking sort of angles like this, or we would just be waiting for a plant to go down and playing in showers or something. I'm waiting for like a good pop flash opportunity on people's sides, and because a lot of, like as I've said on defense, right, or just said, that when we're retaking, generally players aren't going to go lamps. They're going to be retaking from this area of the map or this area of A. So making plays on them from showers is pretty good. If you have a teammate especially, to play off the pop flash or whatever. You can also do flashes through here as well. If you want to have a teammate there, do flashes from there. Actually, you can do it from here as well. It's possible to do flashes like that too. So you're actually a bit closer. You can capitalize a bit more on the flash. Or trade your teammate. Something like that, right? Okay, so on short, what will happen is I'll usually dog, yeah, and yeah, I can see quite a lot. Then I don't manage to see all of lamps as well. So we clear a lot of lamps, clear close angle here, and we clear like some of the close angles here. And it's not the greatest sometimes because it can get sniped from very far away. The dog can, and then great, doesn't really get anything. So yeah, need to make sure like maybe you have some pressure coming out at the same time, or some value, like not value, some smokes coming down, so you actually get value with the dog. Meant to say. And then, yeah, so what we'll actually do sometimes is I'll go right up against the barrier here. And then I'll flash early, showers. And then come over here for the dog. And then I'll commit. I'll just pretend to do the dog. And then I'll commit through with my team from short. So I usually like flash out a smoke here or something. Or a flash showers, or flash lamps for my teammates going into it or something. Otherwise, we probably wholly ignore it. Maybe I'll have a raise that will satchel on over the truck. I can help her with the flash as well. So yeah, plenty of things you can do. You can flash all the backside with that truck flash as well. So yeah, pretty strong on A in general. In post plant, you probably won't be the one alive. Probably won't be one of the ones alive. If you are alive from showers, we're gonna play this area, like I've already said. Or you're gonna play showers. Or you're going to be playing either like close lamps, kind of playing off a teammate here. What you want to do is you want to say like, when you contact, I'll flash. Or so basically you assume that they're going to die, go 1-for-1 or something. Or alternatively, the enemy team probably will make sound running into here. So when you hear sound, just say to them that when you hear footsteps, turn around. Or you can say, turn around right now and wait for my flash or something. Obviously it's really risky because they just walk in, they're just gonna see this person turn around. But like, yeah, you can do flashes like off teammates and things like that as well. Do the same over here as well, with like a wall breaking, for instance, or something like that. Very possible you can do stuff like that as well. Generally, honestly, you probably don't want to have a flasher even, to be honest. Here, thinking about it, you're gonna put off this person's contact, and when they contact, you just switch. It's pretty obvious play, but it's pretty strong still, and one of the reasons why a lot of defenders won't retake from there. So when we're going B, generally I won't go hookah, as I feel like other utils should be used to take hookah. But yeah, because dog is quite valuable for actually going onto site as well. So using it on hookahs seems like a bit of a waste to me, especially because a lot of the time the enemy team won't populate hookah in a meaningful way. They'll usually like get like info from here or something and try and get a 1 and then run away or something. They're not gonna like commit to the space. So using dog kind of seems like a waste sometimes. So you can use flash as well, which also can help you know if someone's there and things like that. But generally you want to use like raise beam bot or something different, fade maybe, perilous or whatever you've got at your disposal. Even if a jet going in there and dashing away is also a possibility as well, more so than the dog in my opinion, because I think the dog is a lot stronger when going into sight. If you are going to commit hookah, which I very rarely do, if any time at all actually, then going to be dogging sight, because this is like one of the best places to dog, and generally you're going to be able to see most of sight. And that's probably the wrong path. The right path is probably look straight down here, and then you can look all the way around and check this corner. Probably what it is, but it could be better than that, probably. I don't actually know. Like I said, don't really dog from hookah. I don't really play from hookah that much. There's probably better dog paths than that. That was just one that I thought of instantly, but probably not actually correct. So then when it comes to B long, if you are against a Skye, probably going to be looking to like hide, play these mind games, right? You're going to have the same sort of mind games in your head, so a little bit what you're reading this Skye going to do, what this guy's going to do. And then you probably want, a lot of people use dog here. I personally don't like it. I would just use bird, yeah, and play anti-flash, and we just like use our guns to take the space by playing anti and using the flash, as I've just said, this flash to sort of take the space, or maybe another one as well. Make sure we apply anti-flash, and then we should probably get the kill. And then I like using dog at this point, and because we can actually see like everything. We actually see like all of sight from here. Like we literally saw everything on site, and that's why I think dog is like really strong if we actually save it until we actually go on site. Seeker is also really strong for taking sites in general. I haven't talked about them until I've had to, right? Until like I haven't talked about them on attack anyway. Because generally you just want to use them to take sites most of the time. Otherwise you can use them for info, but info is a lot weaker for use for Skye than it is to like take the site. Taking the site is like a lot of added pressure from the seekers that you don't have to like actively do. So you're not like, you have your gun out and there's also pressure coming from the seekers. So you can have your own pressure and the seekers will have pressure. So that's why seekers are really strong when actually going into sites. Yeah, generally it's pretty strong to use it to actually go into sites rather than info, but you can use it for info on certain situations. Usually you probably won't do it on Bind, to be fair. You probably do it on maps more like Haven or Lotus. It's a lot less on this map, and probably do a lot more on Executes on this map. And then when it comes to retaking B, most of the time I'm gonna be playing defensively with my teammates to like get flash kills. One teammate there, one I'm here, like we flash it. Or if they go aggressive, we do flashes over the top like this. Like flash people coming from CT. Or you can just do normal pop flashes for them as well. The possibility. You can also flash through this. Oh, okay. If I'm actually not bad. What will happen is that your teammate can go sit here, right, and you can flash through this, and it go over in the corner. Also a good one to do. Obviously, alternatively, you can just be an elbow to do it as well, like this. And then when like obviously that when they PK, right, they won't be flashed. They'll be like half flashed or like less than half flashed. So when they actually fight, flash goes off behind them. So they get that flash, and that's it. It's pretty good. And obviously the people they're fighting will be full flashed. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the guide. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you learned something. And I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye.